Go ahead, Jenelle.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. My name's Jenelle Riley. I'm an editor at Variety. We're here today with All Creatures Great and Small, which is back. The fifth season of the Masterpiece series is now airing on PBS, and all of our favorite creatures are back. Please join me in welcoming today. We have Nicholas Ralph, Rachel Shenton, Samuel West, Anna Madeley, and hey, Callum Woodhouse is here. Thank you all so much for being here. And just so everyone knows, Nicholas is joining us today to show support, but unfortunately he's got a bad cold, so he's lost his voice. So he probably won't be contributing much, although we'll take hand signals. Okay, there we go. Well, again, thank you all so much for being here. We have missed you all. All Creatures Great and Small has endured so many years as books and then a previous series, and now we're 5 years into the show, and it's more beloved than ever. And I'm just curious if any of you have thought much about why these characters and these stories endure throughout the ages, and why it is so adored.
It's sort of timeless, isn't it? You know, the relationships that these people have. Like, I mean, Siegfried and Tristan, obviously, for me personally, comes to mind. Like, especially, this their brotherly relationship that they like love each other just so deeply, but also wind each other up like no one else could possibly ever do. And I think lots and lots of people can relate to that.
I think the more television I watch, the more I think All Creatures Great and Small is rather unusual, actually. Um, I see trailers for sort of gritty new thrillers with terrible things happening to people, and I feel more and more happy that I'm in this thing that's lasted for 5 years with these beautiful people, which has the sort of basic cables of decency, kindness, community, trying to welcome strangers and ease suffering. And given that the world seems to have gone a bit bonkers, I'm more and more grateful for that. I mean, I think I would have gone totally loony if I hadn't had it in the last 5 years, especially considering what the state of the things since lockdown. But also for it to have turned out this well, this ensemble to be so beautiful, is a rare and special treat.
I think you said it. You've said it before, Sam. I'm quoting you, Sam. Is that
Good idea? Good idea. Yeah.
there's no baddie. There's no villain in All Creatures. It's just nice people doing nice things for each other and for the community and for animals.
And
There are some baddies. They're cats.
Yeah, there are some fairly vicious cows.
Sorry, Rachel.
No, not at all. I was just going to echo what everybody said, really. But I think when you base something around community, friendship, and love, it can never not be relevant, and it always feels important. And
Well said. Well
yeah, I
said.
guess.
It seems to touch every generation as well. I think because the show deals with so many people within a community, it has that multi-generational appeal. I'm doing a show at the moment. I'm meeting a lot of fans who come to see it, and they're all completely different. There isn't a particular demographic that seems to watch the show from all over the place, all over the world, all different ages. And I think that's partly to do with that, is that it's just relatable across community, what community is, what friendship is, and everyone trying to live good lives. It just touches everybody.
Speaking of fan interactions, I actually want to get into that because, people love this show and these characters so much. I'm curious if they ever, mistake you for them. Like Samuel, do you have people asking you for veterinarian advice on their pets?
What makes you think I'm a good casting for an emotionally stunted 55-year-old who's terribly pleased with his own voice? I could probably examine a dog if at a pinch. Because I had to do that a few times so that I knew like what I was doing. And after a while, you think, okay, well, if I do it in the right order, then I am actually doing it. But in terms of spotting the right symptoms, absolutely not. No, I think that would be a really good game show. I think if you get the cast of procedural dramas, there was a show on here called London's Burning, which was about firefighters. It's gone for 20 years now. But if you got the cast of London's Burning back and put them in a big fire engine and sent them to a fire and said, okay, you've done enough stuff with hoses, put that out. And then everybody had to casualty had to do had to save people's lives with the CPR and stuff. I think that'd be a really good show.
And the workers could try and act in the shows as well.
They'd probably turn out to be much better than us.
good.
That might not be a good idea.
Talks
Big
about
insurance policy for that show.
Yeah, talking about people thinking you're the character. So I'm on another job at the moment. I'm not going to be indiscreet and say who it is, but somebody on the job said that they were a big fan of the show, and then I just got an email with like the schedule, and it said, "Hey Helen" at the top of the email. So I think people do think that you're the character, or get you mixed up sometimes.
I'm actually really glad everyone has their specific names listed, because I do run the risk of saying that. But we're so happy this show is back, and specifically that Tristan is back after a season away for the war. Callum, have you missed this group? What was it like returning to this world, and what can we sort of expect from Tristan this season?
Oh, I mean, yeah, you know, it goes without saying, but I will say, yeah, that I absolutely missed these guys so much. Yeah, it was 1 year without the usual type of joy that I get from being up north in the Yorkshire Dales, which is sort of where I'm from originally. You know, I'm not too far from home, and I'm working with all these like amazing guys, and you know the cast that are obviously on right now, Sam, Anna, Rachel, Nick, I love those guys, and but also just the crew. It's I don't know about like anyone else, but I've never experienced a job where it's the same crew every year. We're on series 5 now, and it's pretty much the exact same crew from series 1, because they just love it and they want to come back, and I think I just think it really speaks volumes to just the joy and the sort of jolliness on set.
You know, we see Siegfried promise he'll never utter a cross word again if Tristan comes home.
Yes, that doesn't
How long
last.
does that last? Yeah.
About 20 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I'm clearly, obviously, I'm very, very proud of him. And then he turns out to be an absolutely immediately annoying person, and you know, I can't help that.
You're still talking about Tristan, right?
Yeah, still talking about Tristan.
Okay.
But then there is, at the end of this episode, with the world's most cantankerous farmer, played by Nick Asprey, who's an old friend of mine, who's absolutely brilliant. So Tris and I sort of go into a double act, and we discover that we can still do it. And it's like who is whose wingman? It's hard to tell, but we still make a good double act, and that's so. Yeah, it doesn't last long, but I mean, it's the thought that counts, isn't it? And I am clearly enormously proud of him, even though I think that he's been sent back for personal training rather than to do the training.
Yeah.
We have yet to see Tristan encounter Carmody. What's that going to be like when those two meet?
Yeah, yeah, spoiler alert, that is episode 4, and it was, I really think it might be up there as like one of the most fun episodes I've ever made. It was absolutely brilliant. I get on with Jamie so well. He's absolutely brilliant actor, and when you get on with someone so well like that, it makes it so much easier and more fun to play the sort of, you know, like, you know, the sort of like not nastiness, but like sort of like the back and forth between them. It was just brilliant. And I also conquered one of my my one and only phobia in that episode, which was holding a snake.
Oh yes, it's our first snake, isn't it?
Yeah.
Snakes.
Yeah,
Not so bad.
No, it's no, not for me.
We also have our first fox in this,
I prefer
this
dogs.
series as well. Foxes are interesting because the fox turns up in the Christmas episode, and there's a big question mark as to whether you're allowed to treat, well, you're certainly not allowed to treat wild animals as a vet. And so there's a good sort of moral crunchy question when somebody brings a fox in, because as soon as you do treat it, it basically becomes tamer and can't go back into the wild. So vets on the whole don't do it, but you'll have to watch the episode to find out what happens. It's rather good.
All these seasons in, does it get easier working with the animals, or are they still problematic divas?
No, I don't know if they ever have been. No, I think these four more so, but the animals
They're
are
all
they're
terribly
bad.
difficult now.
the animals are easy. The animals are easy. Yeah.
I don't know if I
The trouble
remember.
is they don't keep coming back, so they don't get more used to us. That you have to be careful with them every time.
We put in 10% contingency on all the scenes with the animals in season 1 because we had absolutely no idea how long it would take to work with them.
Mm.
And in fact, the days with the animals were the only days we finished early.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
It speaks volumes to the animal handlers that we have for the show. The like some of the things that they like train these animals to do for the scenes. I've never seen anything like it. They're absolutely brilliant.
Can they train humans too? Because there's a few.
sadly not.
Sometimes.
Most of the animals are much better behaved.
Another big change to the season, we have another James. Baby Jimmy is now part of the household. Rachel, what was it like to work with a baby as a scene partner? You know, they say never work with animals and children, and here you're doing both.
We do both at the same time often. Yeah. There were 5 Jimmies in our series. Because obviously but babies are limited to the hours they can work. They're incredibly lazy. No, they can't they can only work so many hours, of course. And so we chopped and changed between lots of different Jimmies, and they were all equally as gorgeous. But I think having a baby on set is similar to having an animal on set, is that it brings such a level of focus that you sometimes, you know, that you otherwise wouldn't have. And I really enjoyed that. Everyone's a bit calmer, everyone's a bit conscious of their noise levels and things, and that's always a joy, really. And they really were. We rehearsed with Jelly Jimmy, which was a prosthetic baby, and Wade honestly was heavier than the real thing. Like I would much prefer to rehearse with real Jimmy. So yeah, it was a joy. I don't really have any, unfortunately. I'd love to say we've got some sort of horror stories. I've been asked this before, but they were absolutely delightful, all of them. And we got to know them. And then by the end of the shoot, they'd got quite used to us. So we'd get a big smile when they'd come in the morning, and yeah, that kind of thing. It was lovely. It's really nice.
The only problem is that they can't grow up fast enough for the series. So by the time we get to Christmas, we have to have different babies because we shoot at the same time. So as soon as you get fond of them, they have to stop.
They're also quite similar to like the animals in a way, in that like they'll just do something in the middle of a scene because there's no filter there, and it's really nice to react to those type of things. And I think like quite often like these random things that happened which we reacted to made it into the show.
It gets lightness to it, doesn't it? That you just have to be in the moment. You can't get too wedded to something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And one of our directors, Andy, is very fond of doing things quite on quite wide shots. He doesn't necessarily do a lot of coverage. So a lot of things that happen in medium or wide shot and are absolutely unrepeatable. You can't cut in to cover it in a close-up because it'll never happen again. But he doesn't mind because that's how we shoot things anyway. So quite a lot of that it works well.
The cast is also growing in that this season we see Ted Lasso's Jeremy Swift as Mr. Bosworth, Mrs. Hall's other boss. Anna, can you talk about not only this new development for Mrs. Hall, you know, taking on this position of air raid warden, but why this work is important to her and what it's like sharing scenes with Jeremy?
Jeremy's brilliant. He's an absolute genius. So thrilled to have him. He was amazing and lovely, and he just brought something magical to that character, because he's quite when you first meet him, he's quite annoying, but but he just brought a tenderness and a truthfulness and a vulnerability, and he had so many layers to him, that yeah, it was just magical and just so funny. He's got real funny moments as well. So we had a lot of fun working with him. And it was great to do that storyline because it's Mrs. Hall wants to, you know, especially now James is back and baby Jimmy is kind of at an age now, he's just that little, they're through the initial tunnel, aren't they, of his arrival and those first crazy few months. And you know, we've talked about the fact that in First World War she was very active and participated, and she's a community-minded person. So I think that thing of working out, well, what can I do? She's doing her knitting her socks. I think that desire to do more and be useful and yeah, get out there and do something is strong in her. So yeah, it's exciting and fun to go off and have an adventure and break some conventions in Bosworth's mind and shake things up a bit. Yeah, it was really fun to shoot that storyline.
Speaking of fan interactions, I have to imagine people really love scenes with Mrs. Hall and Siegfried, and everyone is so excited about the possibility of maybe seeing them take this relationship to the next level. Siegfried has said he's ready to love again. What can we sort of expect this season?
A more enigmatic smile from everybody.
I mean, you'll have to wait and see.
Okay, fair enough.
There are so many reasons why it shouldn't happen, and whatever does happen has to happen properly and at the right speed.
Do you get a lot of fans though asking you about this, or because they can be very passionate?
Yes, they can, and quite it's lovely that they're interested. But we have to play things ourselves and at our own speed. And you know, one of the things that it's easy to forget is that it isn't 2025.
Mm-hmm.
That you know, simply treating your employer as your friend is quite a forward thing to do in 1941. And to be romantically involved with somebody like that, I mean, there are, as I say, there are a million reasons why it shouldn't happen, and only one why it should.
But just for the record, I'm with the fans. Like, I want that to happen as well.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just pointing out that you know, we have to do things at the right speed.
Well, Nicholas was actually going to tell us everything that happens this season, but unfortunately he can't.
No, I want him to. I want him to in extremely loud noises.
I have had people in both camps as well. I've had people in Camp Siegfried and people in Camp Gerald. So.
Gerald,
dear Gerald.
Love Gerald.
We do keep casting these brilliant actors. This is a problem.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the danger.
Mm.
We have so many questions from the audience. I want to try and take as many as possible. Forgive me, all of you at home, if I mispronounce anyone's names, but we have Carl from Asheville, North Carolina.
Hello, Asheville. Hello, Carl. My
This
partner lives in Asheville sometimes.
what are you kidding? This is a question for Callum. Tristan provides much of the comedic relief on the show. Do you have a favorite comedic moment or scene from the series so far?
What specifically, series 5 or the whole
series? Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's got to be the budgie in series 3, and trying to do a little bit of sort of CPR on this budgie for a woman who's blind. So I'm just pretending that it's still alive.
You can see the effect it's having on us.
Yeah, I mean that for me is probably, in terms of
You never did that
comedy,
before.
probably my favorite storyline. I love that one. It's the only time in my entire career where I've been doing a take and I can hear the director laughing at the monitors, and it sort of like ruined the take in a way. Like, we couldn't use it because his laughter was in the room, so we had to do it again.
The best feeling.
Yeah, it was a good feeling. Yeah.
We have a question from Natalie. Oh, from my hometown of Portland, Oregon. Wants to know if the cast can tell us about their favorite personal pets, past or present.
Well,
Rachel,
I'm
go
a
on.
big fan of rats, so I've had 5 rats in my life.
Really?
They were sort of baby substitutes, but they were all female, and they all had names that began with M. So I had Myrtle, Molly, Martha, Maud, and Matilda, and I remember they're all buried outside, and I remember them all very fondly. Although we have 2 beautiful cats at the moment, who are named after the Isles of Scilly. They're called Briar and Annet, and they're pretty beautiful too.
You didn't have the rats and the cats at the same time, I'm taking it.
No, though it's not impossible, but you have to start them both quite young.
Okay.
We are planning it.
Anna, for you?
We couldn't have many because my mum was allergic to everything, but we did have a very ancient old budgie called Peppy, who we inherited from my great aunt Maud, who refused to ever come out of her cage. Bless her, she wouldn't. She would leave the door open, she wouldn't come out and play. So we just talked to her. She was yellow and green and sweet and chirped in the corner.
Rachel?
I have a dog. She's not here at the moment, or I would grab her and show you. Rosie, she's a Maltese. She's perfect and beautiful. And
Gorgeous.
she's lovely. And she's sometimes in the trailer. I'm yet to get her on the show, but I'm going to do it before. Maybe the next season we'll try and get her in.
I was gonna ask, like, are you a stage mom with this dog? I would be bringing it to set every day.
I think, oh no, I have brought her to set for sure. But I would like to get her on screen at some point. That'll be something.
With Jess and Dash and see how they get on.
Pardon?
Stick her in with Jess and Dash.
Yeah, stick her.
Yeah.
See how they get on in that little basket.
Oh, look who's showing
Oh.
off. Who have we here? Well, unfortunately, he's muted. So we have to look at the cat. Oh, there we go.
This is Annet, who is named after the westernmost inhabited island, or the westernmost island of the Scilly Isles. And it's Cornish for kittiwake, a Cornish cat, and doesn't really want to be here.
They never do.
Unusual for a cat.
Yeah, herding cat.
Callum, for you? Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, look!
They look-
Hello!
that's a Muppet. That's not a dog.
That's not a dog. Where's Ralph?
Callum, for you?
Yeah, I just got a new puppy called Lenny, who me and my girlfriend are raising him, and he's the friendliest chap in the world. He's absolutely lovely. Other than that, yeah, there was a time when I was much younger where I went through. It was like a 1-year period where I think over like 1 year, I had 10 rabbits. Never all at the same time. I had like 1, then he ran away. Then we got 2, then they ran away. Then I got another 1, and then it ran away. And then it got to 10, and I was like, "Mom, I can't do this anymore. It's taken too much of a strain."
How were all these rabbits getting away? Were they not in the house?
Yeah, they would do it. I don't know. Maybe they just absolutely hated me. They just really wanted to get away.
They're a warren somewhere.
Yeah. I
Your pet.
hope they live in a good life wherever they may be.
We have a question from Laura who wants to know, how have these roles changed your lives? And did you ever anticipate how much it would positively affect viewers? Because of all of you, you've gotten me through very many difficult times.
Well, that's beautiful.
Wow.
Gosh, that's a wonderful thing. Thank you, Laura.
Yeah.
I mean, if I ever met any of the cast of Parks and Rec, I would have to say to them, "You've got me through lockdown," and I hope that they would go, "Oh, how great!" Because they really did, and a pregnancy actually. So I know how much that means to people if this is your go-to thing. So that's wonderful. I mean, I just think it's lovely to play a part for that long. I've never done it before. To play a part when they keep coming up with things and you go, "Oh no, I think I thought that was already there, or that was always a possibility, or that was under the surface." So that you discover new depths, but they don't contradict what you had already. You know, even if you do a play for a year, you don't get to return to it. This is just a joy, especially with these people.
Yeah, and it's very rare that on a job you enjoy all the bits. you love the cast and you love the location and you love the material and you get really excited to go back to, everything seems to work on all creatures. It sounds really cheesy, but
Yeah.
that's so rare. Yeah, and it's again, yeah, it's just such an honor.
Speaking to the cast all getting along, we have a question from Raleigh, North Carolina, from Noelle. She asks, you all look like you have so much fun together. Are there any pranks on set when you're filming?
Oh, pranks. Are there pranks?
Thanks.
I mean, right now Nicholas is pretending not to have a voice just so he can
Yeah,
leave
it's
you.
the biggest
Yeah,
prank
that I
in
mean
the
that's a
season.
complete lie. Yeah, yeah. He's fine. Are there pranks? I don't know if there is.
I know I can always
Animals
make
provide enough.
Nick and I can always make each other laugh by bringing a setup, by bringing a prop up and behind them and saying,
Yeah.
perhaps this will refresh your memory.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. And you've got your
our
watch on,
oldest
of
gags.
course, is a classic.
Yes.
What was that? Sorry.
You've got your watch on.
You've got your watch on.
Got your watch on. That's the classic.
That would take too long to explain.
It would take the rest of the Q&A to explain, so we can't do it.
We have a question from Julie. Well, first she wants to say thank you for being here with all. In this world of distress, having your show is a balm, which is a word I actually use frequently. I love that. Her question is, between the seasons, how do you keep your character in mind so that you can slide back into the role?
Well,
I don't know if I do. I always have the thing. I don't know if anyone else has it, but I always have the thing on the first day where I'm like, oh my God, I completely cannot remember how to play this character. This is going to be absolutely dreadful. And then we do the first take, and then Tristan just appears from somewhere, and I'm like, oh, thank God he showed up just at the last minute. Thank God for that.
Very
It's
good.
really weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've played two other people this week. I finished Malvolio last Saturday, and I was Peter Judd in Slow Horses yesterday, and I'm Siegfried in a couple of weeks. But I have to say that, and this is not me blowing our trumpet, but our darling executive producer Melissa always does say, and I think she means it, and I think it's true, that we hit the ground running quite early, and it doesn't take very long. I think maybe when we're by ourselves it's harder, but put us in a group and it sort of happens. That's the great joy of acting, isn't it? You're part of something that's greater than the sum of its parts, and you don't quite know how it works, but it does.
And there's so many elements that come into play, aren't there? It's like you have what you're wearing, we have that amazing set. Once you get back on there, it's funny how sort of territorial we all became about it, of our house and where everything should be, and why is that chair not where it was last year?
Yes, walking into Skeldale House is a big character building thing, because it feels like home.
Everything, accents, those of us doing accents and all those sorts of things. It's many things, but also because the writing is so good. I think because Ben Vanson set it up so beautifully, there's a truthfulness to it. That comes out of off the page as well. You know, the voices are strong on the page, so I always find that, like, I get nervous, and then you read a script and you're like, oh, there they are.
Yeah.
And also because the drive is always to have fewer things happening. It's sort of like slow television in that respect. Ben often said it early on that they were putting things either into the next episode or sometimes into the next season, so that things weren't too crowded. So on the whole, the dramatic things that are happening are quite ordinary and small, which is good because that makes them sort of human. And so you don't have to come in thinking, oh no, how do I react to the fact that my eldest brother has just exploded? And because he hasn't, he's just sort of been a bit of a pain.
And what Sam said earlier about like obviously the rest of the cast, there's this amazing quote from Ian McKellen. It's one of my favorite quotes that he made about acting, which is he says that you're only ever as good as the actor that you're acting opposite against. And so with that in mind, I think it's some of the best acting that I've ever done, because I'm acting opposite these four people who are all absolutely brilliant.
Rachel, for you, what's it like? I would think, some characters, it might be hard to step into. I think it'd be a joy to play Helen and to come back to her every year.
It's an absolute joy. It really is. I mean, I'm sure this is the same for everybody, but yeah, like Anna just said, it's really our job's really made quite easy by the time we get there because the set's so brilliant and the costume's so brilliant, and the makeup department are there, and there are so many familiar faces, and the material's great that actually slipping back into it is easy and lovely. And Helen's a joy to play because I mean, I admire her so much, the way she sort of takes everything on and gets on with it, and with a smile on her face. It's like nothing phases her really. Yeah, I could learn a lot from her.
With amazing hair too, always.
She's got amazing hair. Yeah.
You're extremely well cast.
We have a question for Anna from Julia from Brooklyn. I read that you advocated for Mrs. Hall to have more non-stereotypical interests, like her passion for cricket. Did that nudging also influence her role as a night warden this season?
I think it was great. I mean, Ben set that up really in the beginning of and it's something that I feel passionate that we keep going with, that Mrs. Hall had some extraordinary adventures when she was young, and it opened a world to her that she wouldn't, would she have picked up a rifle otherwise? I don't think so. She probably would have learnt to knit, but I just think there are so many things that she's curious about. She's curious about their vet world, but it's not, not her skill set. I think she's that kind of person that all those things can be interesting and fun, and in your desire to be part of a community, and she's not scared to learn something new. And I like that about her. It'd be easy to make a stereotypical sort of cranky housekeeper character, and they created something really individual and spirit of curiosity and fun in her, and so I think that stays alive in her when she goes out and does things like checks the local community. It's a big appeal to me in playing her.
I love that. We have a question from Lily from Pomeroy, Ohio. What has been your favorite episode to film from any season, and why?
This season, season 5 coming out now, is there's an episode where Tristan and Siegfried it's sort of like a what do they call, like, the on the road, the Jack Kerouac,
like a buddy movie.
yeah.
Road
Yeah,
movie.
they have their sort of version of that, and that was a really fun one to film.
Yeah, that really was fun actually, because apart from
Yeah.
anything else, we got to spend a whole week together, just the two
Yeah,
of us,
it was
just being
brilliant.
really silly and really drunk.
Yeah, progressively
Getting
drunk.
progressively more drunk as the week went on.
Yeah. That was a really brilliant
Very
one.
jolly. Yeah.
Some of the James and Helen episodes were really fun for those characters.
Oh, he felt so passionate about that. He had to unmute.
It's so emotional. It's taken his voice. Some of the early, so if I'm thinking back for the whole series, some of the early kind of James and Helen adventures were lovely, and then this season, it's a strange one actually, but a scene that springs to mind is that I think it's one of the first ones of episode 1. Mrs. Hall and Helen have just scurried across the square to go into Bosworth's meeting, and Bosworth is like addressing the room, and it's the only time that I've ever seen Patricia Hodge corpse, and all of it. Now I can't even keep my face straight now trying to explain the story to you. He was so Jeremy Swift's performance was just so brilliant, and not what I was expecting at all, that we almost couldn't get through it. I mean, it was funny at first, and then after a while you can see the sort of ADs and directors getting a bit annoyed with us, like that we need to sort of get it together, and we just couldn't because he was so funny. So that springs to mind in this one.
That was painful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They nearly sent you home.
I'd have sent me home. I was so ashamed. I couldn't stop laughing. It was so funny.
Anna is famously the biggest corpser out of the five of
And
us.
very easy to get. There's no
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have predicted that.
No.
That's amazing. We have a question from Lisa, wants to know, what is the most interesting thing you've learned about this period in history while filming in the Dales? Ooh, tough one.
Yeah.
Well, there's just so many things that you can't do. So many things that have to happen in a sort of analog way. You know, we don't have a refrigerator yet. We don't really have a washing machine. Everything is manual, and you know, it's extraordinary that anything gets done, and yet it does.
And also the continuity of things. Like, you could say it's a long time ago, but then you kind of go generationally, it isn't that long ago. And then you find there's like tins of things in the cupboard that are from that era. You go, well, we grew up on that as well. So there's something sort of saying, oh, that was ages ago. And then you're like, well, hang on, it's the same, they're the same product. Well, you read the magazines from
the
like,
Rover is the same age
the
as my
same
mother.
sort of thing.
Yeah, I was about
continued as well as what's different. Like, that's the
yeah,
price thing.
I was about to say probably not having power steering with the cars is probably yeah, that's
But I
that
think
was
the
a bit...
principle behind period stuff is, you know, that to contradict that the past is another country, people do things differently there. The past is not another country. People do things exactly the same.
Yeah.
And that's why it still makes sense.
That's why the show is both timeless and timely in so many ways, kind of eerily so. We have a question from Alicia from Alexandra, wants to know which animals are the easiest to work with and the hardest, which we all know is cats.
Tricky Woo has got to be the easiest to do a scene with.
Oh,
Yeah, Tricky's quite easy because he's quite
He's just the most chill guy ever.
yeah, but you can actually physically manipulate him as well because he's quite floppy and sort of lets you do whatever you want. So yeah,
but still somehow manages to steal the scene every time. It's really odd.
That's really annoying.
We could all learn a lot from Tricky, I think.
Yeah.
In terms of getting something back from an animal, I'd have to say horses, because they will, as you know, if you tried to ride them, they will react to your mood, and so if you're calm and talk to them calmly, and you can have moments of stillness between a person and a horse, which are, well, you can film them, they're invisible, but you can see them, and conversely, if they're not there, that's quite annoying.
Are the animals at all like the babies and that they get used to you, or they, you know, are happy when you're around, or are they just never impressed?
I guess they're similar to babies in the it changes. So sometimes an animal's really on your team and you're like, it's working and it's great, and then they'll just have enough and that'll be it. That's kind of, you know, that's kind of the end of it. So I like working with animals and babies in that respect because they call the shots and you're playing catch up the whole time.
It's like if you have a very small baby and it falls asleep, you're not allowed to wake it up. Quite right too, because they need their sleep. So that's why you have two babies. And similarly, if we're working with a horse and it gets tired, then the handler will say, "You've got one more take. It has to work, or we do it later."
Oh, wow. Well, again, it's been such a joy talking to you all. I'm so happy the show is back. I want to remind everyone watching at home, you can watch the rest of episode 3, Homecoming, of All Creatures Great and Small tonight at 8 Central on Masterpiece on PBS, as well as the rest of the season every Sunday through February 23rd on Masterpiece. Thank you so much for joining us. And again, thank you for this show.
Well,
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure. Cheers.